Welcome to the Feel Better, Be Better show. Today, Kate and Nevada will answer your questions and introduce new topics designed to help feel better and be better. These are raw conversations, but they will make a difference.
So, all right, so we went over, did we go over meal prep?
A little bit.
We did put that in there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. We went over all our little idiot, whatever it is.
Who can't talk now? Who needs to read now?
I can't say idiosyncrasies. Got it.
Notice how I didn't tell you how to say it?
Yes, thank you. I'm aware because you're going to get into like idiosyncronomics or something.
Oh, God. Not that bad. Yeah, we talk about a lot of our habits, a lot of building habits. I have to continually train and build.
So it's just a constant thing. I mean, we're constantly even like reassuring ourselves all the time too. I mean, like it's just, you got to continually keep on whatever you want to improve on.
Yep.
And we
Helps
just,
if you have a partner.
yeah, we're
Keep
really,
you accountable.
well, because we're really good at beating ourselves down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I totally messed this up, and you just let it like completely go to waste. Or if you have somebody else like, okay, that's fine, pick up the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So, hope you enjoy it. Let us know send us your little idiosyncronomics that you have. All right, Kate, so let's see here real quick. Got an interesting thing for you. So, kind of had somebody the other day when I was like, when I was subbing in for a softball team, and they kind of made the comment about how it's just like, it's just amazing. I'm so lucky that I'm just like naturally good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I don't really have the heart to tell people how much you have to work on things, you know? I mean, and the person, you know, bless her heart or whatever, was sitting there kind of going on about how, like, you know, and you're like thin and you're like this and all that kind of stuff and everything. And just kind of made me realize that people just never see the continual working out, the constant, like, honing your craft if you want to be good at something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can take, if you want to stay in the realm of softball, people don't see the work people put in. I mean, we hit a lot during the week. Usually after our kids' practice, we'll stay and hit. But people in slow pitch don't see that, and they just think you're good when you come out there.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I both know if you take time off from it, your hitting severely goes downhill just because the timing and repetition is gone.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like last year when you guys needed a sub on Sundays, and I hadn't really played in like 4 months or something like that, and I didn't hit over the winter time. So I mean, it had probably been like, I don't know, maybe 9 months since I'd swung a bat. And that first pitch, I mean, I missed it. And it wasn't like a bad pitch. It was almost so foreign.
Yeah.
And like now, if you see me play, you would be like, there's no way you missed one.
Yeah.
But
like, you can feel it, like your timing's off.
Yeah.
Everything feels, you don't trust yourself as much in it.
Yeah. And that's on, you know, a slow pitch softball game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could you even imagine, I mean, fast pitch or, you know, like if you're doing something super, you know, crazily skilled or something like that, like basketball and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. But I even think about like job stuff wise too.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing the same stuff all the time during the day, it's super easy to just go through everything. But if it's like a task that, you know, you take a couple months off or you haven't done that job in a while, you feel it. Like, you're like, wait, how do I do this again? What am I doing again?
Yeah. It's like when you have to go. Yeah, you have to go like, let me see here. This was something I did 5 years ago that was like, you know, fundamental before I got to my next level, but now I got to do it again. And you go to look at it and you're like, wait a minute, what do I got to do again?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're like, oh crap, I need to look at the procedures. Oh yeah. And then you get through and you're like, oh, that's why I did this way. You know, you just lose out on it. And that reminds me of a boss I had at a job that are, you know, one of the people that actually I reviewed their stuff was out that day, and I was having to do it, and it ended up being a really tough day when they were out. And I said something, I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get through this, I'm struggling or whatever, and they're struggling through it. And they said something like, well, I figured you'd be like twice as fast as them. And I was like, why would I be? They do this every single day. I haven't done this in a year and a half. Mm-hmm. You know, why would you? Well, you're so much better than them at that. I'm like, no, I'm not. They do it every day. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be better.
Yeah. There's something to be said for just the repetition of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no matter what it is, the more that you do it, it's hours of experience to become an expert.
Yeah.
There's all the science behind it.
Well,
There's
there's
like 10,000 hours and you're an expert in something. You have to get to that 10,000 hours. Even if you're better than most people at that field, you still have to go through the process and get the hours in.
well, I would say even if you get so many hours to where you can become like a master of that craft, if you take some time off from it, I mean, you're going to slowly lose that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say the same thing happens for you in any of the activities that you may do between, even if it's sports or athleticism or, personal, financial work. I mean, you can even get into like the arts and the stuff like that, where if you just take time from it, I mean, it's all skill. It's all something you're working on.
Yeah.
I mean, that leads me into, you know, we have, different hitting setups where people can come hit and plenty of people don't. And I know when we hit our next tournament, we're going to probably struggle because we don't have time to do that in practice. We have, the other fundamental, we got to cover everything. We got to get game situations. We got to get other things. We got to show pitching and this kind of stuff. And I mean, you don't have time to do an hour of hitting every single practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel bad because I'm like, man, we're going to hit the games and parents are going to be upset because their kid isn't hitting good. They're like, what are you doing at practice? Like practice stuff.
Yeah. Well, even if you did spend 2 practices a week pretty much hitting the whole time, it still wouldn't be enough for some kids because you have 12-ish players on the field that you have to get through versus like if someone went and did more small group hitting or hitting on their own, they could hit however long they wanted and makes a difference. Adds up.
Well, there's plenty of people that do all the tee work on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah. So, let's see here. In the same realm of things, so what are all some of the things that we do on an absolute regular basis and nobody sees to keep us up on all of the things that we do?
Well,
and some of those we actually, have to challenge each other.
I know. Starting from the morning, I think like Miracle Morning is a good one because it's very structured and like doing the same stuff every day as far as like your repetition for your meditation, breathing, which has a lot of health benefits besides just setting your mind, or visualization so you know what you're doing for the day and everything like that.
I was going to say that thing to me is almost a full-on perspective, mental clarity scenario. I mean, yeah, they have exercise and other stuff in there, but to me, the whole thing is to try to set your mindset.
It is. And you could say, well, that seems weird to have as like continual training in there. But like if you do that for a month and then you take a couple of days off, you're going to feel a difference. And then you're out of routine and you got to get back in it. Like you feel it. So I think that's a huge one.
Well, I mean, we can talk about that just on the meditations, like we've talked about. I mean, if you're not practicing on a regular basis, you're going to have a hard time getting to a meditative state.
Yep.
So if you take a few days off, you're going to feel that because you haven't been training your mind in that way. I look at like the visualizations on the fact that if you take a couple of days off of that, now you kind of rebuild them. Because I mean, you've gone 2 or 3 days, things have changed.
Yep.
And then you get into like some of your journaling and your stuff like that. I mean, the exercise we can all relate to. What else do we got in that?
Affirmations. I mean, you take a positive mindset that you've been building and you're going to backtrack from that.
Yep.
Because it's so easy in society and just our own natural ability to like negative self-talk.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that one's a great prime example. I mean, me and you both have had times where we got sick or something. We took a couple of days off and then you come back and it's just like, oh, wow, I'm really sucking at meditation now.
Yeah. Or even reading. I mean, reading is a great exercise of the mind and to build knowledge. I mean, you get a time to actually read something that's out there, whether it's like important information or just for fun. I think it really elevates your vocabulary and your ability to communicate and all kinds of stuff. And if you're not doing that on a regular basis, you're not getting it.
Well, for the record, I still tell people I can't read. Just making sure.
Okay.
So there's Miracle Morning.
Miracle Morning, I'd say another continual training that we do is meal prep on Sunday. So that way we have healthy meals throughout the week.
Yeah, that one's
I would count that in there.
No, I would definitely, because that's a huge discipline. Because, I mean, we want to make sure that we have healthy meals to be able to go and heat up and do. So we're not going to be like, I only got an hour really do, so I guess I'll just stop by Pizza Hut or something, or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, you have the meals there. It's easy to heat them up and go. Yep. But if you don't discipline yourself to be able to do that, and then we have to schedule it, it's never the same time. Most times on the same day.
And Sundays have been hard some days.
Yes.
Some days they are way open and it's not a big deal, but some days it's like, okay, I think we can get an hour in here to grocery shop, and then we'll go do something else that we have to get done for the day, maybe hitting or whatever. And then we'll come back and maybe at least make one meal and maybe have to come back for the second meal. But I mean, it's it's very much a no, it's going to happen Sunday because it needs to, so that way I'm not eating crap throughout the week because my body needs good nutrition.
No, we basically said we have to make it a priority on Sunday, or we have to schedule with each other to find a different day.
Yeah.
We know that is a priority on Sundays.
Yep. Yep. And then I'd say another big one is just exercise in general, which we've had to get creative with, especially in softball season, because I mean, your routine and everything is always changing. So we were doing really good at doing longer workouts and some of the mind pump more resistance workouts and adding that stuff back in. But we came into softball season in like the first 2 weeks. It's like there's not time in the evening for us to do this. How can we modify it to where we're getting something to maintain where we're at and make it through to where you have more time to be able to add stuff back in that you maybe enjoy more or want to do more intense.
I don't know. I could almost see that even if we were to take, I mean, a lot of the stuff we took for what we're currently doing to keep our just our general strength up and our mobility up and everything like that, we pulled off of one program. I would say even if we did that one program, I would almost want to not. I mean, I would want to keep doing my daily like 5-minute ones that we do, like.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, it's just being able to keep up my mobility and strength on that one it's like, dude, it's so worth it. It's like grab 5 minutes, knock out 3 or 4 exercises. None of them are super hard. I don't get super sweaty. I do them in my office in my work clothes, and then I'm back and I'm going. It's a good mental break.
Yeah.
Slip in a meditation every now and there too,
Yeah.
Kind of meditate that. Oh, I can't believe she came in and asked me that same question again. Yeah.
Never
happens.
Never happens. For the record, not talking about me. Probably talking about me.
Actually not.
I know you're probably not.
No.
But I do text you a lot of questions during the day.
Sometimes they're the same.
Sometimes. Usually they're not. I usually do a pretty good job researching before I ask.
I'm sure if you asked me the same question, I'd recognize it. I would probably be like, see, 1 month ago.
Yeah. Or did you check?
Just so I can maintain my, my persona. Okay.
Yep. We talked about hitting, so we hit after our practices with the girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were going to take a week off, and then you just came out stroking it the other night.
Yeah, because you wouldn't let me.
I
was ready for retirement, and you told me I couldn't do it.
I'm going to take a couple weeks off because I just can't hit the ball anymore. And then
no, you told me I needed to take a couple weeks off.
I did too. I said maybe that would help. You said you were going to.
I said I was going to quit. You said I should take a couple.
Maybe a couple weeks off. Then you go in there and you start trying to show somebody about how you need to weight on the ball, and you're roping it everywhere. And I'm like, where have I heard that before? Or whatever. So yeah, you would continue to hit on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. I know one that I try to practice, and sometimes those crazy schedules get out of it, is just this. I heard this thing back when Caleb and I kind of split first about resetting your house or your room to like help you first off de-stress from the day because you're not stressed, worried about coming back and cleaning stuff up, but also to get ready for the next day too. And so the idea is like your kitchen. So if you go and cook in your kitchen, to make sure you put your dishes away and clean everything up and set yourself time for that and reset the kitchen so it's back to normal status.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice a huge difference when I do that, like in there or in my bedroom, like reset, don't have to make your bed, but pull the sheets up and make sure things are put away and stuff like that.
I think that one's more of a mental thing where, I mean, when you wake up the next morning and as soon as you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I left myself to do that chore again. So, I mean, you're immediately starting off behind the curve.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so that's another discipline on trying to make sure you do it.
Well, if you take 5 minutes to do it, then it doesn't build up and take 30 minutes later.
Exactly.
So I've tried really hard to keep incorporating that. Not that I'm a messy person by nature or anything, but when you have kids and dogs in life, things build up.
Of course, I'm on the exact flip side of that one, whereas if I leave it for myself. So, I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's actually really easy when you're single alone or whatever to basically just do that stuff. Be like, I'll do the dishes later. I'll just pick up my clothes later. And next thing you know, you're in a complete mess.
Mm-hmm. So. Am I missing any other ones?
Yes.
What am I missing? Should I get a clue?
I'll go into them and you'll probably be like, oh, yeah. A couple of them I say you're working on. But one of the other ones that we don't talk about a lot, but we really should, is nighttime routine.
Oh, I'm horrible at nighttime routine.
Yeah. But see, you say that, but I'm almost to the point now where I will have severe issues of trying to go to sleep if I don't go through my routine.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it takes a little bit of time, but I mean, I kind of have to do that because I'm so switched on all the time. If I don't prepare my brain to settle down, then I basically good luck into sleep.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. and I normally go to bed at whatever. Yeah, midnight.
I was gonna say close to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But if I don't still go through that process, even if I try to shorten a little bit, good luck. I'll be up. So there's that one. The other one that I don't think you probably practice as much, but I think I've kind of forced it into you a little bit is financial.
oh yeah,
Now that one can be a little more, usually they flow a little more in months.
I had some good habits there before you.
I know,
Okay,
but I've definitely expanded on them for
I
you.
know you've made me be better.
I think people get away from that one like crazy because they don't want to see how bad it's getting.
Well, it just feels like it's so bad. But if you just go ahead and like jump in there and take care of it early on, it's usually not as bad as you think it is. Sometimes it is, but usually it's not as bad as you think it is.
Yeah, keeping up on it is good. But the biggest thing on that one too is if you think it's bad and it continues to get bad, you probably need to be making some changes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you face that, it kind of really changes that. But the biggest thing is that you're just keeping an eye on stuff. I mean, it keeps you front and center. It doesn't keep you from ignoring your finances to where you end up blowing a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's good exercise to really kind of find something that you want to track.
Yeah.
So I mean that one's one in particular. I'm trying to think of something for the business stuff that we do. We have plenty of regular stuff that we try to stay on top of.
Mm.
You know, so we're going to make sure that we're recording a show,
Yeah,
or making certain posts, promoting some of the stuff we like.
takes me back to some of like the fact that we've really worked hard and everything we've built to build procedures for how to do things and like a schedule of when to do things. Like I know I'm not super regimented in what I do during the week, but like Tuesdays is my day where I usually catch up on accounting stuff from over the weekend, from farmers markets, all that stuff, do my inventory, and I know I'm doing certain things during that day. And I know I'm doing a certain way because I written down a certain way. And I mean, I need to be a little better about that in case something happens that somebody else needs to do that job. But I mean, there's certain days that I'm like, okay, this is happening during this day, and I know I'm getting these things done. So I hit all those areas that we want to hit.
Yep.
So,
And then one that I know you probably are going to hate me for saying, but socializing.
not so bad anymore.
You're getting better at it, but I mean, I try to at least make sure I check in with certain people on a regular basis. And sometimes I kind of do that on like, each day I'm going to try to touch somebody, you know, try to be able to reach out on a text message or something or whatever.
I'm not good at that.
Yeah, I'm aware. And so, you know, I'm nervous. What if they don't answer my text?
Oh, well, part of it I don't even think about it. Sorry, friends. Well, I'll just go like, oh, I haven't talked to so-and-so in forever. And they're like, oh, maybe I'll text them later. And then it never happens.
Yes. Now, as we've gotten busier, I've gotten way worse on it. But I
Yeah.
used to try to do that on a regular basis. Because, I mean, just like anything else, I mean, if you don't, you know, touch it on a regular basis, I mean, it just kind of goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, you're like, oh, yeah, we used to be friends. When really all you had to do was just, hey, let's go catch lunch or grab a drink or something or whatever. And yeah. So,
Nope.
So I know those are usually looked over pretty quick. But I think the biggest thing I come back to is that if you want to make something better in life, you got to continually hit it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't practice it, then you're basically gonna think you're doing great at it, but you really can't.
Yep.
So you got to constantly keep practicing.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what it is. Like at the beginning of this year, I was really gung ho at working on getting my Spanish back in line because I used to be really good at it and learning sign language. And I kind of fell off the wagon for a little bit, and I'm gonna start back into it. But I mean, when you're practicing it every day, you catch on a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's just like 10, 15 minutes. But just anything you want to do, you want to get better at art or a certain exercise or whatever, dancing. I don't know. You gotta practice it.
I think the biggest thing is we kind of almost have this thing where it's like you got to do this. Oh, I got to get in this league and set up this instructor and do this whole program or something like that. I mean, even like with working out, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can just grab some push-ups here and there. Maybe you can just grab some sit-ups here and there on a workout. You don't have to necessarily take a whole P90X class or something. I mean, you can literally just try to do what you can.
Yep, get started and build on it.
Yeah, same thing with, Miracle Morning is a prime example.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a friend of ours that's going through that now, is starting to start feeling some of the benefits.
Yeah, what's hilarious is she's like, well, I just haven't had a lot of time to do all of them or them for very long. And it's like, it's fine. Just do what you can when you can and work on increasing it from there. And she's got a young kid, and it's like, it's not going to be perfect every time. Like, that's just how it is. I mean,
well, see, that's the other thing that, as we talk about that kind of stuff, you're gonna miss.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be days that you don't get to it.
Or you have to be creative. There were times when Harper would she went through this phase where it's like, okay, I'd get up at 5:30 and I'd have like an hour. And then she decided that she was going to wake up at 5:30 with me. And I was like, so I had to find creative ways that, I wasn't able to do it, had my own time by myself to do it, but I had to find pockets of time that some of them I could do with her and some of it I'd have to find a corner and hide from her and do parts of it.
You can't do meditation with your kid taking on you?
Oh, man. My kid. She's not quiet. I need to teach her meditation. That child could use it.
I really know a lot of kids that are quiet.
Yeah, but she's got a lot of energy, and you know that.
Yeah, but even still, you just wake up one day and you're just not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a night that's, that just, you just got to get something done. You got, family in town or whatever the heck, it totally blows that up and you miss certain things or whatever. You wake up the next day and you could really get upset about the things that you didn't do, or you could just really go like, okay, well, I missed a day. Let's just get back on the horse this day. I couldn't make it. I couldn't do Miracle Morning last time. All right, well, I'm gonna do it this time. We kind of beat ourselves up on that stuff sometimes, and we just, I missed, Monday's workout, so I can't. Now I'm all off on Tuesday, which I probably should have done, but unfortunately I didn't. I missed Mondays yesterday because I had the day off, so I didn't do my workouts. So today I did Mondays and Tuesdays, which we're probably not supposed to do, but I really don't care. I'm sure it shows.
What?
The weight's hard.
Oh, okay. I don't know, like you're tireder than normal?
Yes, I'm definitely tireder.
Yeah.
That's that vocabulary thing.
Yeah. I read a lot.
Yeah. And I bet there's a lot of times where it has tireder in there.
Yep. Not making my book goal right at the moment. I'm going to have to show, and I need to add a few more books in for the month.
I am the most tireder.
Well, I used to read on my lunch break, and now I don't.
Have a lunch break?
It's a quick lunch break. I got a lot of stuff I want to do and get done versus I have a whole hour and I don't want to go back to my desk yet. So I probably need to actually take a lunch.
Probably a good idea.
I sit back there for a little bit, eat my lunch, and then I go back.
Yep. All right. Any other continual working out, improving yourself things we want to touch on?
I think the only thing I would say is piggybacking on yours. If you miss a day, don't let it severely affect you. I think a lot of people, when they miss a day, they're like, oh, well, this whole week's ruined, and then just give up the rest of the week.
I don't think they necessarily say that. I think it just becomes one of those things where it's kind of like you reinforce the fact that you missed a day and it just didn't work out, and you kind of are a little down on yourself, and you're like, well, I'll get it tomorrow. Tomorrow is the greatest day for getting everything done.
But I've had times where I'm like, oh, I've missed, I'm out of routine, and it's like this week just feels like it blew up, and I'm like, I'm going to start fresh next week versus just trying to start fresh the next day and keep at it and do what you can.
Yeah.
Which I think is better off, because if you wait to start till next week and then you're all out of routine, and then it's easy to keep pushing it back.
Yeah, you really got to find that thing of going all right, well, let's get it next day, and just go on. You're the only person that can make that work.
Yeah. And, as far as all the habits and stuff we talk about building and continual training we talk about doing, we still struggle in certain periods of time with certain parts of it, or, not perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So nobody's perfect.
Yeah, no, I'm still struggling. I'm on Miracle Morning because I'm just beat down when I wake up, which really probably shouldn't be beat down when you wake up. Maybe I should go to bed before midnight.
The other next continual training thing we should try to hit is sleep.
Yeah,
as much as we like it and talk about it.
Never tried to focus on that before.
Never. We need to revisit it.
Yeah. Sorry, still high on my list. I'm working on it.
We'll get there.
Okay. See, everybody's got to work on something.
Everybody's got to work on something.
All right, we don't have anything else. I think we call it a day.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's dinner time.
Dinner time.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Kate and Nevada hope you've enjoyed this show and found it useful and empowering. If you have any questions or comments, please contact them at Kenetics.com. That's KNETICX.com. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. And please write a review of the show. Kate and Nevada appreciate hearing the feedback, and they welcome your reviews, and your word of mouth will help others learn how to feel better and be better.